Hi everyone, it's Miss Jan from the Woodlands Children's Museum. Welcome to Storybook Theater. Now today, instead of singing our regular story song, I've changed it just a little bit to go with the story that I picked for you. So it's very easy to learn, so just follow me and you can sing along at home. If you want to show some kindness, give a smile. Can you smile? Can you smile? If you want to show some kindness, give a smile. If you want to show some kindness, if you want to show some kindness, if you want to show some kindness, give a smile. Real big one. Let's just do one more. If you want to show some kindness, give a hug. And we're going to do an air hug right now. If you want to show some kindness, give a hug. If you want to show some kindness, if you want to show some kindness, if you want to show some kindness, give a hug. Very good. Okay, I'm going to go in my treasure chest, and this is the book that I chose for today. And it's a very different book from what I normally read to you. It's a little bit longer, so I'm going to shorten it up a bit, but it's also what we call nonfiction. It's a true story. It's called The Seed of Compassion, Lessons from the Life and Teachings of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And it's written by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So when I'm reading it, it's going to be his words that he wrote for you, for all of you children, to learn about compassion, which is another word for kindness. So when you hear, I'm going to be saying compassion a lot throughout this story. So when you hear that, think about kindness and maybe put your hand on your heart, or even kindness comes from thinking about it as well. So again, I'm going to shorten it just a little bit, and then after I'm done reading, I'm going to hold the pictures up so you can get a good look at what he's talking about. And he's going to tell you about his childhood when he was a little boy. Now, the Dalai Lama is a spiritual leader in Tibet, China. And he's going to talk about when he was little. He's going to talk about how he learned to be kind. And he's going to talk directly to you, to all the boys and girls that are listening to this story. I was born in Taksur in the Amdo province of northeastern Tibet. It was a place of tall mountains, clear streams, blue skies, and many animals. Mastiffs, which are dogs that are found in China, sheep, horses, yaks, scorpions, chickens, and cows. Our home was in the shadow of the Ami cherry, the mountain that pierces the sky. And you can see this is where he lived. It's a farm. I can see some sheep in the picture. So let's find out what else happened when he was a little boy. Mine was a family of farmers. My father would spend the day tending to and selling horses. Can we have some horse sound effects from home? I'm not very good at it. Yay! And I would stay home with my mother and help with her daily work. We would plant barley, buckwheat, and potatoes. But those were not the only seeds we planted. From the time I was very young, my mother planted in me the seed of compassion. By the example she set, she raised me on a diet of love. So you can see that he's helping his mom. Looks like they're bringing in some twigs from outside to make some fire, maybe for cooking or to keep the house warm. It was often my job to collect the eggs from our hens. I took my duty very seriously. While my mother cooked, the aroma of kori, a delicious bread wafting from our kitchen, I would play in the courtyard with scorpions for company. Don't do that at home now. Don't play with scorpions. Sometimes I would sit on the roof of our house. It was the perfect place to watch the mountains reach toward the sky. I'd imagine what the older boys were doing as they accompanied their fathers herding. That means to gather up all the animals, the sheep and the horses. I couldn't wait to be big enough to do that. So you can see him collecting the eggs in the hen house. And that's something that I did when I was a little girl on my grandfather's farm. And I remember there was a rooster who would come and get me every time that I had on my red knee socks. So that's not the best memory. And let's see what else is in here. Okay, playing with scorpions, not something that I want to do. Okay. My other favorite perch was atop my mother's shoulders. From there, I felt like one of the older boys. I was taller than my father, and getting around was so easy. When I wanted to go left, I would simply tug on my mother's left ear. When I wanted to go right, I would give her right ear a pull. I don't know if you would want to do that at home either. If she didn't understand my instructions or chose to ignore them, I would kick my legs. So it's kind of like his mom was giving him a horseback ride. Okay. There we go. Looks like fun though. Although my mother could not teach me to read or write, I learned so much from her. I was often a naughty boy, but she always treated me with kindness. Sometimes I think she may have been a little too patient with me. I was a bit spoiled. But that was her nature. She was this way with everyone around her. One year, when there was a famine in our region and many families did not have enough to eat, my mother gave whatever food we had stored to our neighbors and those in need. In this way, she tended the seed of that most important lesson by demonstrating how to practice compassion. She taught him that as a little boy. And again, I'm not going to read all the words, but I'm just going to kind of explain some of it to you. It's a seed that she planted in him about how to be kind to others. And you can see she's helping people who needed food. And that's kind of, I know a lot of you probably do that with your families. There's food pantries, or maybe churches collect food for those who don't have any or don't have enough. So that's the idea of compassion. You can do that now. I loved growing up under the big open sky in Taxer, but I always knew that my life would take me beyond my small village. When I was almost 3, probably some of you are 3 years old, some men came from the town of Lhasa looking for the child who was going to be the new spiritual leader. They had been waiting. The villagers had been waiting to hear if that child had been found. No one in my family thought that child was me. But after doing some tests, they decided that they knew that I was that child who would be the new leader. So at age 4, I made the long journey to Lhasa in a caravan that's kind of like a parade that snaked through the mountains. It took 3 months, and as news spread that the new Dalai Lama had been found, more and more people joined the procession. I rode in a beautiful palanquin with my brother. We were rambunctious boys. They were not troublemakers, but they liked to move around a lot. And every time we roughhoused inside the cozy cabin, we would knock it off balance. And we had to be separated for the rest of the trip. Does that ever happen to you when you're going on a road trip or a vacation? You have to be separated from your brother or your sister. It happened even to the Dalai Lama. In Lhasa, after I turned 6, school began. and my days were filled with studies. In the few hours I had for my own personal time, I loved to puzzle over how things worked. And here's a picture of him looking at a car, and it looks like there might be a little trouble. I see some steam or smoke coming out of that car, but he's trying to figure out how it works. So that was something that he was very interested in. As I studied many subjects. My favorite one was compassion over your heart. Because of the seed that had been planted by my mother, I believe that is what helped me to learn to be kind to others throughout my life. The remarkable thing is, this ability to have compassion, to be kind, is in every one of us. And I believe it is strongest in children, just like you. And he talks about how it's kind of like a tree that is growing branches and getting stronger, just like you're growing and getting stronger. And at the same time, your kindness for others is growing, just like your body is growing. If you think about it, when it comes to the five senses, we people are not all that impressive. Now, do you know what the senses are? You can see, smell, taste, hear, and touch or feel. He's saying, well, animals have five senses too. The elephant has a long nose and can pick up faint scents from much greater distances than we. The hare or the rabbit can turn his tall ears forward and backward to pick up sounds that we would miss. And the eagle has eyes that can spot the tiniest animal from far up in the sky. Have you ever heard people say he has an eagle eye? That means that you can see things from far away. But only people are able to use their mind. Okay, besides your senses, you can think. And that's what makes us different from all other animals. It's our superpower. So you're superheroes because you can think. Think about this. When you're playing on the playground and some children welcome you with a smile, like we were doing in our song, do you want to play with them? Well, of course you do. They're being kind. How about if someone welcomes you with a scowl, like, oh, I'm having a bad day. Do you want to play with them? Maybe not. Maybe not. But you want to play with somebody who welcomes you with a smile and kindness. And that's part of compassion. And this shows the Dalai Lama speaking to children just like you and teaching them about compassion and kindness. So often our world puts importance on material things, on stuff. But the material things are things that we do with our senses, things we can see and hear and smell and taste and touch. But you grow strongest when you use your mind in addition to your senses. And that is how you learn to be compassionate. Because when you go to somebody with true warm-heartedness, they can feel it. He's going to tell you about some ways that you can be kind to others. When somebody doesn't agree with you, rather than you get mad at them, why don't you ask them, why do they feel this way? Or when somebody is scowling and not smiling, you might say, what can I do to help them? Okay. And that, again, is a way to plant that seed of kindness and compassion in treating others the way you want to be treated. And he's going to end this by saying, I have many responsibilities. That means things he has to do, his duties, his job. But helping to make the world a more compassionate place is the most important duty. As children, you already have what is needed to build a happier world, a better world, a compassionate world. You have that seed of kindness inside of you. So I hope you like that. Again, it's a very different kind of story than what I normally do, but I thought it's just a good time to read it. This book was just published this year, and it was written by the Dalai Lama for children, just like you. And before we say goodbye, I want to explain again, he's talking about planting the seed of kindness. His mother planted that in him as he was a little boy. And why he says seed, let me see if you can see these itty bitty seeds that I have in my hand. These seeds you would plant in soil, and then as they're taken care of, just like you nurture your kindness towards others, you nurture these seeds in the soil. You'll put them in the light, you'll make sure they have enough water, and then what happens, they're going to start to grow if they get water and light. They're going to grow into a vine, just like this. And then that vine is going to keep growing. Let me put that right here. And it's going to start to have some fruit grow. And this is a cantaloupe. So those itty bitty seeds turned into this vine, and then it gave us this big cantaloupe, this melon. So that's what he meant. Plant a small seed, smile at somebody, and it grows into something bigger. Okay, so that's your seed of compassion, your seed of kindness. And if you haven't had a chance yet, we do have another video where you can learn this art project. There's 3 different art projects to go with the story about the seed of compassion, and you can make one of these pots and give it to somebody as a seed of kindness. So thank you so much for joining us today. You guys, until next time, keep a smile on your face, a story and a song, and kindness in your heart. Bye-bye.